issue 315 of Critical Encounters, a podcast about Marvel Champions, a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games. Here, we take a good look at that most critical piece of the game, the encounter sets. We'll discuss those poorly understood fellas' unfairly labeled villains and their various plans to shape humanity and benefit the planet, as well as those so-called heroes intent on thwarting them. I'm one of your hosts, Josh, and with me tonight is our fearless leader, Steve.
You guys always say I'm fearless, but I am always full of fear every time I hit record. But I am here. So, how's it going, Josh?
Well, brother, how are you?
Good, good.
And the effervescent, the radiant, Daniel.
Oh, hi, Josh. Thanks for coming into the lair tonight. What a nice surprise for.
I believe I heard a little bit of twang in that coming in the
Well,
lair.
well, you always get
think
so
there was.
darn folksy when you do your your intro. I want.
What are you talking about? That's me 110% of the time. This is how I talk.
Is it?
Yeah. As far as anybody knows, listening right now.
It's close.
That's true. Keep going. Josh.
It ain't that far away. And finally, brand new behind the helm, one of the new men in charge, a man in my heart who I got to see rise through the ranks, and I am so proud to call a new boss, Lexicon.
Well, I thank you for that wonderfully charming and luxurious introduction.
Who I will most certainly not stab in his sleep and usurp his place among the golden throne.
It's fine with
Yeah,
me and Daniel, right? I mean,
You better
whatever.
I said I wouldn't.
There's plenty of traps around my sleeping quarters to keep you villainous minions out of here.
If you think I don't know my way around a possum hook, you got another thing coming, baby.
Well, we got a full house tonight.
We do.
But before we get to what we're going to do, I have to ask a question. Hey, Cocker Daniel, what is on your mind tonight?
Well, you know what? Mental health is on my mind tonight. And so sometimes when you need to, you just got to take a day off. So today I took a sick day. It's the day after my birthday. And most of I've realized that most faculty members at my school will take their birthday off. I didn't because I had like these kind of big, important things I had to do that day. But I took today off. And then randomly, James Darcy texted me and said, "Hey, I'm in the neighborhood. Let's do something." And so at around 2:00, he came over and he and I played some Marvel Champions. And we played a scenario I cannot tell you about, gentlemen. I'm so sorry about that. But we did play the Hercules and Wonder Man precons against this thing I can't tell you about. And boy, did we lose quickly. So that was fun. And then James went on his merry way and then came back and we had dinner at my house together. And then James and I went and played some trivia at a brewery nearby my house. And we came in last place. And then I showed up here. But the mental health part is like, sometimes you just need to do that for yourself. You just need to take a day. Take a day and have a day, and then surprising things might come up.
I took a day.
Like James showing up. It was great. It was absolutely great.
Me and my wife went and got massages and pedicures today.
See, like you got to do it.
First time I ever had a pedicure in my life, and that little girl that was running the belt sander that took the skin off the heel of my shoe, she's good.
Well, I hope you gave her an extra $3,000 for that.
The belt sander.
Yeah, it's about bigger than she was.
The jaws of life to cut the toenails.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know what grit. I don't know what grit the sandpaper was. Some large number.
Oak.
But yeah. I mean, she did it. She earned every dime of money.
So then, Josh, you know what I'm talking about, right?
That was great. Yeah, mental health is important. You need to take time for yourself and relax and decompress. Today's wild world.
And the other thing I did today, and Steve, you'll be happy about this, that I feel good about, I sent the core box out to our winner.
It's on its way.
It's
All right.
on its way.
We are caught up on prize mailings, so we can do a new contest because I don't want to start something new. We've got things
Yeah.
pending.
Well done, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I'm actually proud of myself that it was less than a year. So
Wait. How long has it been that this person's been waiting on their core box?
well, the person waiting on the core box didn't know they were waiting on it, so it made it a little bit easier on my psyche.
Yeah, we did this. When did we do the prize?
So the prize, Josh, was for someone to tell us why I should send them a core set to a friend of theirs or a family member or whatever who does not play the game and doesn't know.
That was for the 300th episode, right? That was you were
Yep.
doing. Yeah, I was there when you launched the
December.
How long ago
December.
was that?
It was December 10th.
It was 15 episodes ago.
15 episodes ago. Yeah.
Right. So
That's not that long.
Like I said, I'm proud that it was less than a year.
15 weeks.
Yeah. And plus, they're getting it for free. What are they, ungrateful? Don't be turds. Don't be ungrateful.
They don't even know it's coming. Is the best part. It's just going to show up.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Their friend, however, is the one who's like the one listening to the show,
waiting for this to show up at their friend's house. Yes.
So they could say something like yes.
Yeah, on the package I wrote for like the return address, I wrote Critical Encounters Podcast, care of John Powell. So that guarantees that they open the thing. I thought that I should do that because they're like, what is this?
Yeah.
You should have wrote definitely not a bomb or anthrax.
Yeah. So
that'd go great in the post office. So.
Just write in like real rough scrawled letters, you deserve this.
Yeah.
That way they know it's something good, because if they feel they've been good, they know they deserve.
Yeah. Woo. Okay. But Steve, we're not here for this nonsense. What's going on tonight?
No, we are here to discuss a mental organism designed only for killing, cash, something with a K. Yes. And M.O.D.O.K. We're going to talk M.O.D.O.K. scenario 3 out of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. box. And Scott drew the short straw and has to tell us all about the floating head man. So, Scott, take it away.
Yeah, let's talk about the mental organism designed only for killing. As we all know him, M.O.D.O.K. M.O.D.O.K. is not new to the show. M.O.D.O.K. has been on the show. Josh, do you remember when the guys talked about M.O.D.O.K?
When the Doomsday Chair episode was?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. The Doomsday Chair episode.
Oh, I remember fondly back then. I remember that exact date. But let's test the guys to make sure they remember too.
Okay. I'm going to
Daniel,
say...
Steve, do you remember?
Issue 9, I'm guessing.
Ooh.
9?
9.
Okay,
Steve should know.
Hold on a sec.
I don't know it offhand. I'm just guessing without looking.
All right. 9.
Without looking.
So without looking, 0 was like one of those standard sets. And then Rhino, a modular. I don't know. I mean, M.O.D.O.K. The Doomsday Chair was one of the harder mods in the core set, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So we didn't have a recommended thing. It wasn't a recommended set for anything.
Right.
Nope.
But did it have like a difficulty rating that was like 4 or something, right?
It's
basically
the most
give
difficult.
difficulty ratings? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say that it was episode 16.
I think they gave
Wow.
They gave ratings like one time just in the core set,
and then
right?
Hood, they gave you a relative rating of the modulars in that pack. But yeah, just the core set I think gave you real ratings.
I know which one it is.
Steve,
I know which one.
Steve was the closest. What's your guess, Josh?
It was 10.
That's right.
Did you look it up?
No. Maybe.
I knew 11
You'll
was
never know. I almost cursed.
I knew that 11 was our first interview with Caleb Grace.
Yes.
And I thought it was before that
interview.
But I didn't realize it was just before.
You were absolutely
Holy
correct.
cow, you guys only put out 10 episodes and got an interview with Caleb Grace.
Yeah.
Fantasy Flight was grasping at straws early in the day. Get some notoriety out for the game, weren't they?
Daniel and I knew him from Lord of the Rings stuff, so yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're like best friends. I was at his child's christening, right?
Oh, wow.
He was at my son's baptism. Yeah, we're like
we had been at barbecues at his house.
I think he was your best man at your wedding, Daniel, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Like Caleb's looking at this right now, going, "He's I'm his best friend. He ain't mine."
Okay, so we talked about it in 10. And
Episode 10. So for those of you who do not remember, maybe go back and give it a listen because Steve gave us a wonderful rundown of the background of M.O.D.O.K.
I did the lore.
He is the titular figure within the Doomsday Chair. The Doomsday Chair is a reference to the chair that he flies around in. And M.O.D.O.K is, of course, the main figure in the Doomsday Chair mod set, which came in the core box way
Can I
back in the
guess
beginning.
that Mustafa was like, "This is not good. He's terrible. Just ignore him. Forget about his
not strong
retaliate."
enough.
Right?
Yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
But yeah, so we've had the lore of M.O.D.O.K, and in fact, not that much has changed about M.O.D.O.K since you gave that lore. But we're going to give a little bit of a recap for those listeners who, don't recall or maybe are too lazy to go re-listen. Let's talk about M.O.D.O.K.
Was that before or after the god awful Patton Oswalt Hulu
This is
show?
before.
Our show was before the Hulu
Before.
version. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Hulu version came out, like 3 years ago, I think, 4 years ago. So yeah, let's talk about M.O.D.O.K. So M.O.D.O.K has been around for, almost 60 years. He is a very old character, first introduced in the Tales of Suspense, which were released in the mid to late 60s. I think it was around 67 when the first episode or the first comic aired featuring M.O.D.O.K. And he comes in primarily as a foil for Captain America. Now, there's a little bit of, in my research on M.O.D.O.K, there's some variations on his specific origin of exactly how it happened, but there's also maybe a little bit of an add-in later that explains it. But the first place we see the explanation of how M.O.D.O.K came into being is in a Captain America comic from 1968 run. It's comic number 132, which actually released, I think, in the 70s, early 70s, where a nameless agent of AIM is voluntold into the all-powerful alteration chamber and turned, against his will, into the mental organism designed only for killing. Now, unfortunately for the Scientist Supreme at the time, M.O.D.O.K's first victim isn't AIM's enemies, but AIM's leadership. He kills the Scientist Supreme and takes over as leader of AIM. Classic villain beginning.
Yep.
Only there's also, and Steve, you hit on this, there's also this history that he was first created as the mental organism designed only for not killing, but computing. Because originally he was supposed to be a giant supercomputer. Only when he came out, he killed people. He didn't like being told what to do. He didn't want to be a mindless slave. He had the most brilliant mind ever made. So, of course, he killed the people who created him and took over AIM, and then gained the name of M.O.D.O.K, designed only for killing with a K.
See,
so we have some variation there.
I thought he was bitten by a giant radioactive Easter Island head.
I'm sure in one of the many universes of Marvel, that is in fact how he came into being. But in our universe, he has this monstrously oversized head because his brain was swollen to such a degree to hold his head can't contain it, right? So his head expands and his body is tiny because he's not been created to do physical things. He's been created to do mental things. So M.O.D.O.K, once known as George Tarleton, is turned into this genius psionic being. And that alteration chamber is actually also the cosmic cube, which is something, Steve, you also talked about. So this is the same cosmic cube becomes the Power Stone and some variations or the Power Cube that Red Skull uses. It kind of comes and goes, and it's a frequent component in M.O.D.O.K's history that he was created using the cosmic cube, and then he also uses the cosmic cube to create a number of other things. So once M.O.D.O.K is in the stories, he fights Captain America, who is the pinnacle of physical excellence, right? And M.O.D.O.K, of course, is the pinnacle of mental excellence. So they are battling one another in their respective strengths. And M.O.D.O.K, of course, keeps losing, but he's never really fully defeated. He's kind of like half defeated. Now, over history, he fights a number of different heroes and a number of different villains. He fights alongside them. From Captain America, he creates Bulldozer, the original version of Bulldozer, I suppose, out of the Cosmic Cube and sets him against the city. Then he also creates Betty Ross. He turns her into the Harpy and sets her against the Hulk. And then he's in a number of Hulk comics for quite some time. That set of comics is hilarious. They end up taking the Harpy and the Hulk to a flying island owned by the Bi-Beast, a huge man-like beast with a second head growing out of its forehead. And M.O.D.O.K tries to seize the island, but Bi-Beast destroys it instead. This is like the story of M.O.D.O.K. He and they're not the Illuminati, but, or are they? Is it the Illuminati that he joins? It's a group of genius villains, and they create Red Hulk. Of course, they eventually betray him and destroy him and cast him aside. Yeah, Intelligentsia, that's the one. Thank you.
Yeah.
So constantly M.O.D.O.K is in and out of these different pieces, but all throughout his story, he's attached to AIM. He starts in AIM. He becomes the leader of AIM. The people of AIM have a coup. They overthrow him. They don't like what he's doing. He's driven out. He eventually finds his way back, takes back over, eliminates the leadership, and becomes the head of AIM again. And it's sort of this constant loop of betrayal and overthrow. Right.
The head of AIM.
The head of AIM, indeed.
Oh, man. I missed that one.
The head of AIM.
Yes, thank you. And he takes some detours. He joined S.H.I.E.L.D. for a time, actually, as a scientist, and supports S.H.I.E.L.D. in overthrowing Andrew Forson. And they are so pleased with him, they actually give him a claim. He retires and is living in a small town in the middle of nowhere, and he gets bored. And so he ends up creating a new assassin group and goes out and eventually fights his way back to take back over AIM.
Wait. You can't just casually say he was living out in a small town. He's out, he's got turnips or something that he's just tending to, and people were walking by going, "Hey, M.O.D.O.K, how's it going?" And he goes, "Oh, hi, Philip. How you doing?" Floating around in his chair, tending to his community garden.
Exactly.
What did he have clothes, or was it still in in my head? He's got a button-up shirt, but I don't get how that works.
It's just M.O.D.O.K.
His
M.O.D.O.K is always M.O.D.O.K.
Ears. How does?
Hey, you know what? We don't discriminate against the physically challenged here on this show, Josh. I'm just saying.
It doesn't make sense. I don't understand, because he was a normal person, and then he got his brain embiggened, and that made his head get bigger. But I imagine when your head gets bigger, it seems like his head didn't so much get bigger as it consumed the rest of his body.
Yeah, that's basically what it did, yes.
And his arms look like they're coming out of his ears. I don't know how you look at that and tell me there's a benevolent God in this world.
Well, there's some there's some images of him where he's not quite so horrendous.
A kind God would not allow that to exist on a planet he shepherds.
Yes, well, what does that say about the universe?
Dark things, Scott. Dark things. But we're not here to answer people's existential questions and philosophize about religion.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong that it's hard to love M.O.D.O.K in the shape that he's in, which is why for a time he became Bro.D.O.K.
What?
The bio. What's the R? The bio.
He was just into surfing.
Bio-robotic organism designed
only for kissing.
Kissing.
Oh,
yeah.
I said the kissing thing earlier as a joke, and that's a real thing they did.
That's a real thing. Yep.
Someone got paid to write that down.
Wait, Scott, is this a bit or is this real?
It's real.
No, this is absolutely real. So he's M.O.D.O.K. You can check it out in the West Avengers comics with Gwenpool and Kate Bishop. And some of these different heroes, the West Coast Avengers,
Okay.
Hawkeye is leading them at the time. M.O.D.O.K, he like emerges out of the sea. He's a surfer boy. He's trying to like go clean and be a nice guy and all this kind of stuff, but it doesn't really
I
work
love
out.
that.
He ends up actually, he finds out that people have taken over his research facility there on the West Coast, and so he's really mad about it and unleashes a bunch of, bio robotic enormous monsters to destroy them, and he gets found out, and the West Avengers end up shutting them down. So a whole thing. That's where Jeff is in a similar comic run as when he emerges from the sea too, I think.
This
Jeff the
isn't
Land
even
Shark.
like
Yep.
it's not even a separate dimension. This is 616.
This is
Yeah.
616
And
straight up.
apparently his head can grow and shrink so that his mouth is always the optimal size for kissing.
Optimal size. Yes, for M.O.D.O.K. Yeah, no, it was a whole thing. But he couldn't get
He
love.
looks very
did not
different.
find
He
love.
looks very
Well,
different.
we'll put that to the test, won't we?
And eventually he reverts back to M.O.D.O.K. AIM hires the Serpent Society to kill him. He finds his way back to life. Gwenpool launches him into space and cripples him and like destroys an eye. He eventually finds his way back. But the thing about M.O.D.O.K is he's really a computer, right? He is a organism, but he's also a computer. So his memories are all in computer banks. And so when he's destroyed, he often comes back. I highly recommend checking out the Who is M.O.D.O.K Infinity comic if you have access to Marvel Unlimited. It's a wonderful one-issue overview, basically, of his history when he's like rebooting himself and getting his memories back. He goes through his memories of him getting like beat up by all these different people and back and forth through these different places. So it's a nice little snapshot of his life. It doesn't catch everything, but it catches a number of the major key points. So that's a nice little one.
Yeah, the other good one for M.O.D.O.K is the Head Games
Yes.
series. Yes. Yep.
The Head Games is a great series, which I was going to talk about next. So what do you remember about the Head Games there, Steve?
I just remember that's where we learned that dear old dad is the one who pushed him into the machine to turn him into M.O.D.O.K because he wasn't smart enough for him. So
yes.
yeah, and that's where like we meet his family and things like that. So
exactly. So in Head Games, which is one of the more recent comic runs, we find out M.O.D.O.K starts having visions of a family. He starts thinking that he somehow at one point had a wife and kids. One of them looks like him. This is where the Oswald Patton show kind of pulls from him being with his family. That is all based on these dreams, or the comic is like finding the way to pull that into the comics.
That's based on a real thing, like an actual comic run?
Well, I think that the comic is actually written after they created the show. So it kind of brings in like, oh, that's the show's not real. The show is actually a bunch of fake memories implanted into M.O.D.O.K. And Gwenpool ends up showing up. She shows up to kill him, but then she feels bad about it and unkills him by changing the comic and rewrites it to where she figures out that this was all written by this guy who lives in this place. You got to go check it out. So he goes to Ohio, where
Butterville,
his home is.
Butterville,
Ohio. That's
Yep.
right.
Dear God in heaven.
And this is the house that he's supposed to be living in Ohio with his family, only his family's not there. Instead, it's an old man. In fact, it is the founder of AIM, Alvin Tarleton.
Hey, hold on. If you look at the chair, his arms are up by his ears. That means his arms are up in the air all the time, like he's pretended to be a monster. Like he's got him over his head. But they don't look.
Do not try to
I can't make it work.
rationalize the biology of M.O.D.O.K.
I'm not doing okay, boss. I'm not doing all right. It's not good.
Mind wipe for a moment. Remember your training. Breathe in, breathe out. It's getting real dark. No, don't make me edit anymore. The sun's getting real low. Josh, take a breather. Scott, wrap it up. Okay, keep going before Josh explodes.
So Alvin Tarleton is the original founder of AIM, and he was the original scientist supreme. He's supposed to be dead. I don't know why he's not, but turns out all of the scientist supremes who he thought had been killed or been sloughed off over the years, most of them had actually slunk away and were now living in Butterville, Ohio, together as a community alongside a bunch of the adaptoids. So M.O.D.O.K shows up thinking that he's going to his family when in fact it's a trap set to lure M.O.D.O.K back. It's a override. It's a It's a reset button that was designed that if M.O.D.O.K ever got out of control, that it would help draw him back so that they could reset him and take control of him again. So he shows up expecting to find a family, and instead he finds the dear old dad who threw him away. Because while in one of the stories he's a janitor who volunteers, that's how M.O.D.O.K remembers it. M.O.D.O.K isn't a reliable narrator. He remembers what he was told to remember. He thinks that he volunteered, that he wanted to become this thing, but he didn't. His father had no concern for him, didn't care for him, thought that he was useless, and so he wanted something useful and put his own son into the cosmic cube to turn him into M.O.D.O.K. And then M.O.D.O.K rebelled. So they try to pull him back in, but M.O.D.O.K happens to have a phone case out of the same material that Thor's hammer is made out of, so it always returns to its owner, and he uses the phone case to kill everybody. As if it were Thor's hammer. It strikes through their bodies, and he escapes.
I'm not saying a word.
Just keep it to yourself. So this is
God forbid I ask a question.
That is how the head games ends. It's a delightful bit of back and forth and foray into the mind of M.O.D.O.K. So across all of M.O.D.O.K's appearances, he has certain power sets that have largely remained anchored sort of in the general vein, right? He's a super genius level computer, and he has psionic abilities. So he can generate a psionic shield, send out psionic blasts. They also call them brain blasts or mind blasts. He has psionic machetes, and of course his chair, which is outfitted with every manner of weapon you can think of. If it can be used for violence, it's probably there. And he can also send his thoughts across space with ease and can often locate heroes and villains alike using his psionic prowess. He's a genius inventor, he's capable of elaborate calculations in milliseconds, and he's incredibly durable, making him particularly difficult to totally eradicate. Like I said, even when he's damaged, he can be fixed, he can be rebooted, so he doesn't have the same vulnerabilities that the human shape generally does. And that's M.O.D.O.K.
Do you think when he goes to the dentist, they just put him in one of those tanks of water with like the fish that go in sharks' mouths and just let him open his mouth and they go in there? Because I would not, if I was a sane man and I was a dentist, I wouldn't put my hand anywhere near that son of a bitch.
Hey,
I don't think M.O.D.O.K goes to the dentist. I think
Language.
a specialist comes to M.O.D.O.K.
That's the first time. It's the only one. I just have one.
It was pretty good.
I'm doing pretty good.
I will say this. I can't think of M.O.D.O.K without thinking of just how bad the effects are in that stupid Ant-Man.
I loved it. I was totally creeped out by it, and you should be creeped out by it.
It wasn't that bad. It was just like the writing to it was really rough, and then like the weird, like comedic, his little butt. But like at least there we can see where the arms came from. Here, I don't.
No,
you know
it
what?
was
I don't.
so bad. His face in the thing was just so bad. It's just like we haven't
Yeah,
It was weird, but
like.
I mean, he's also
somebody
Darren
from the
Cross. He's
50s.
not George Charlton.
Yeah.
Right.
I kind of wish they had done. I mean, I like the callback. I like that they pulled,
Yeah,
Darren
the whole
back
they shrunk
in.
him and so much.
I wish it
yeah.
had been a much more serious character, though. I do. I wish it had been played for a bit because we've been waiting on M.O.D.O.K for how long, And really, it was just there to see his tiny triangular
Language.
Like that was the whole reason.
And it was like the Yellow Jacket actor, right?
Yeah, it's the same guy. I mean, it was the Yellow Jacket guy. Like, it was Yellow Jacket. That was what happened to him after he got shrunk down. Yeah. Spoilers
shrunk,
for Quantum Mania, everybody.
From 6 years ago or whatever.
Was it? No, it was like 2 years ago.
I don't even know. I
It's been a
actually
while.
saw it in a theater and was like, "Oh, this is disappointing." But
So, Scott, is there more lore on M.O.D.O.K we need to talk about?
Not really. There are a few notable things that occasionally he does have like a suit that he can get into. So his head, the body is it's more like a giant mech suit, right? So his head looks more proportionate to the actual body of the suit.
He's being that the whole time because
it's, and I think the biggest thing is just knowing that he's fought alongside an enormous spread of villains, but he's also fought against a lot of those villains because many of them have actually fought against him, tried to overthrow him, been hired to kill him. He's kind of willing to work with anybody and people enjoy his brain, but at the same time, he slaughters lots of people. So yeah, that's M.O.D.O.K.
Cool.
creeps me out.
Thank you, Scott. Yeah. I think he's supposed to.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So, yeah. Shall we now look at the cards? I think it's time.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so let's look at M.O.D.O.K. He is our third scenario in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. box, Wave 9. 27 total cards, 22 by title.
Wow.
There are a lot of singletons here. Tonight we're going to look at the setup cards. So, Scott, you've been talking a lot. Let's have Daniel give us the M.O.D.O.Ks, shall we?
I get to
Lovely.
do the man of the hour, even though Scott was the one who did the lore?
Yes, because he's it is the mental organism Daniel of kissing.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just saying we're going against like 7 years of protocol.
Well, right? I mean, Scott talked a lot. Let's have someone else talk. He's tired. I can see it in his face.
Okay, well, M.O.D.O.K. M.O.D.O.K. is an A and B villain here. So in the A side, M.O.D.O.K. is a 2-scheme, 1-attack aerial cyborg psionic traded villain with 10 hit points. Oh, and that seems some explaining, Steve. That seems very low.
This whole start is going to require a lot of explaining. So
yeah, because 10. I think that our villain should have 37 hit points per player.
It's 2 more than Batroc had.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Yeah,
exactly.
I guess this guy's really strong in the box. He has Retaliate 1 and a Force Interrupt when M.O.D.O.K. would be defeated. Oh, I see where this is going. If a holding cell is in play, remove 2 lock counters from it and reset M.O.D.O.K's hit points to 10 instead. Otherwise, the players win the game. Now, his B side, I imagine you throw that down if you're being all expert and stuff, has Retaliate 2 and Steady with 3-scheme, 1-attack, same traits, aerial, cyborg, psionic. And when M.O.D.O.K. would be defeated, if holding cells in play, remove 2 lock counters from it and reset his hit points to 14 because he's bigger and stronger on the B side. Otherwise, players win the game. So that's M.O.D.O.K. Boy, that villain card asks a lot of questions.
It introduces a lot.
Maybe we need to know what a holding cell is, Steve.
We definitely do. And what we need to know about this is once there are no holding cells in play, you beat M.O.D.O.K. once more and you win the game. So you got to beat him up a bunch of times, which is why he doesn't have a per player health, I think, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Should we skip directly to the holding cells?
I think so. I think so.
All right, so during setup, we're going to be told to make a holding cell deck. And let me tell you what the holding cell deck is all about. During setup, players are instructed to create the holding cell deck. To do this, shuffle together the 4 double-sided holding cell cards, each with an inhuman ally on the reverse. Place this deck near the main scheme with its holding cell side face up. The top card of the deck is in play. When a holding cell enters play, either during setup or when the last lock counter is removed from the previous top card of the holding cell deck, the text on the holding cell places 2 lock counters per player onto that card. So you have 4 cards, holding cell face up. You got to dig through or unlock cell by cell by cell. And we learned you can remove 2 by punching M.O.D.O.K. in his big ugly face. Okay. All right, so we understand that, but let's go back a moment. And Scott, why don't you tell us about M.O.D.O.K's main scheme?
All right, his main scheme is called upgrading adaptoids. So it's in the setup, it says we're going to create the holding cell deck, just like you said. It references the rulebook. You're going to put 1 random adaptoid environment into play. So we're going to have to learn about those two environments instead in expert mode and set the others aside. Each player will search the encounter deck for a copy of Adaptoid and reveal it. It does use the contents of M.O.D.O.K. 1 or M.O.D.O.K. A or B, right, in expert, the standard encounter set, and has 1 modular encounter set. It doesn't have any recommended. It just has the 1 recommended that doesn't have any additionals. Yes, it's suggesting you use Scientist Supreme. Yes. So it has 1 recommended modular encounter set, which is the Scientist Supreme. The B side, 1B, is upgrading the adaptoids. It has a threshold of 7 threat per player. It goes up by 1 threat per player and starts with 1 threat per player. It has a forced interrupt that when this stage would be completed.
Interrupt, right?
Faced interrupt?
Faced.
Oh my gosh.
Get it? I've been sitting quietly for a minute.
It's pretty good.
I love you, Josh.
That's good, man.
Love you.
When this stage would be completed, put one random set-aside adaptoid environment into play instead. So you don't lose when it would be completed, right? Just like MODOK doesn't lose when you defeat him. Then, if there are no set-aside adaptoid environments, the players lose the game. Otherwise, remove all threat from here and shuffle each adaptoid minion from the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. So it kind of resets every time he upgrades the adaptoids. They're going to get stronger. You're going to shuffle them back into the deck so you'll see them again, and you keep going. So it's kind of a race. Can you unlock all the holding cells first, or is he going to upgrade all of his adaptoids first?
That's cool. I like this. This is a good scenario.
Yeah, and on standard mode, one adaptoid environment starts in play. So if this completes 3 times, you lose. Because
Correct.
you put a random one out and it says, then if there are no set-aside environments, the players lose. Unlike MODOK, where you have to defeat him once more, this one is once they're all out in play, it's over. So, and on Expert, 2 of them start in play, so you can only let it complete twice.
Well, all of them go out, and then if it resets again once they're all out, so
Nope.
you have one
Nope.
more time.
No.
Right?
Nope. When the
Oh, it
last
does
one
say
comes
then,
out.
doesn't it? Yeah, put it into play, and
Yep.
then if they're in.
That's
Okay,
right.
I thought it was like MODOK or Mojo, where it checks.
Yeah, it's not
at
like
the
Mojo.
end, Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, if I'd quit worrying about my stupid face puns and actually listen to Lex tell me reason hard, maybe I'd understand it. I'm sorry, I got a small head. It's not smart enough.
Yeah, but your arms are longer, so
Yes,
it's
but
okay.
it's way more handsome.
Oh,
Aw.
God. Thank you.
Before we get too gushy here, let's talk about these holding cells then, shall we?
I'm about to be designed only for kids.
So about those holding cells.
There are 4 different holding cell environments, each one containing an inhuman you'll learn about in a second. But let's talk about the 4 different holding cell environments. Our first one, and each of them interplay with 2 per player lock counters on them, has a forced interrupt. When the last lock counter is removed from here, flip this card and put Flying Inhuman into play under any player's control. As a hero action, you can spend 2 energy resources or 3 resources of any type to remove 1 lock counter from here. The second holding cell, again, enters play with 2 per player lock counters on it. When the last lock counter is removed, you're flipping it and you're putting the Psionic Inhuman into play under any player's control. As a hero action, you're spending 2 mental resources on this one, or 3 resources of any type, to remove 1 lock counter from here. Our third one, you guessed it, 2 per player lock counters on it. Forced interrupt. When it gets defeated, when the last lock counter gets removed from here, we're putting Strong Inhuman into play. And as a hero action, you're spending 2 strength resources or 3 resources of any type to remove a lock. And then our final one, our other holding cell, when the last lock counter is removed from here, flip this card. We're putting Sarah Garza into play under any player's control. And if anybody's playing the home game, can they guess what type of resource we will be spending with a hero action to remove a counter from here?
Wild.
That's right. That's right, boys. That's
Wild.
right, you kids at home. A wild resource. Or 3 resources of any type to remove the lock counter from there. What about them inhumans that are in them? What are we putting in the sales, huh?
Well, you talked about 4 different Inhumans there, Josh.
I named them, but what is on their cards, Daniel?
Well, you mentioned first a Flying Inhuman. Well, that's an ally with 2 thwart, 1 attack, 5 health. The aerial, inhuman, and rescue traits does not count against your ally limit. Now, when this ally thwarts, you remove 1 threat from another scheme. And as a forced response, after this card leaves play, flip it and place it on the bottom of the holding cell deck. Oh, they get recaptured, eh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So he's your thwarty one. Who's next, Steve?
We have a Psionic Inhuman, a 1 thwart, 1 attack, Inhuman, Psionic, and Rescue trait with 5 health. Doesn't count against your ally limit. After this ally thwarts, remove 1 lock counter from a holding cell. Easily the best of the Inhumans, in my opinion.
Okay.
And if he leaves play for any reason, he goes back to jail and gets flipped into a holding cell. But Scott, there's another one.
There
What?
is. It's a Strong Inhuman. This is a ally with 1 thwart, 3 attack, toughness, does not count against your ally limit, and forced response. After this card leaves play, flip it and place it on the bottom of the holding cell deck, and it has 7 health.
That is strong.
Very strong Inhuman.
It's only Inhuman and Rescued. It should be like Brute.
It should be a Brute.
Just to have another trait, right?
I mean, that is a stout lady. You know what that reminds me of? Did you guys watch Encanto?
Yes, I was just going to say that.
Yes.
Yeah, that looks like the girl from Encanto. I think they might have
It does.
stole this. Who drew this? Laverna DeSanto? I can't read that.
Which rhymes
somebody
with
DeSanto.
Encanto.
Oh, conspiracy.
Oh, we're going down the rabbit hole here. You heard it here, folks, on Critical Encounters. Daniel Stephen Lexicon endorsed this theory. This DeSanto artist is stealing from Disney. You heard it here. No, she doesn't look that close. She looks like a big beefy dwarf. I like it. The last one's the only one with a name. Sarah Garza, very famous Inhuman. 2 thwart, 2 attack. Sarah Garza's attacks gain overkill and ranged. Inhuman, rescued, and shield traded with 5 health. She has a forced response. What do we think it is? You guessed it, kids. After this card leaves play, flip it, place it on the bottom of the holding cell deck.
She also has the shield trait, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, I said the shield trait. I said that.
Yeah, you did. I'm commenting. I did not realize she had the shield trait. I was surprised. I hadn't really paid attention to it, but when you said it, I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't think about
I
that.
played a game today against M.O.D.O.K, and I gave her the shield sidearm.
If we're good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now, next week, Daniel, you're going to tell us all about who Sarah Garza really is, correct?
Yeah, I don't really recognize this person from the LinkedIn profile I looked at.
Okay. Oh boy.
So maybe I went to the wrong place.
All right. Well, we'll find out more about her next week, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah, this doesn't look like Sarah Garza, the real estate agent here in DC.
Well, nobody puts a real picture up, so.
Well, fair
That's
point.
true.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we should also say for all of these allies, they take a single consequential when we're attacking them.
True. We're not used to talking about player cards, so what do we know?
Yeah.
Yeah, minions don't take
What do we
consequences.
know?
Gross.
All right, so there's another card during setup. Every player starts with an Adaptoid in front of them. So let me read you the Adaptoids. And again, next week we'll talk a little bit about what the Adaptoids are. So these are non-unique minions with a 1 scheme, 1 attack, the Adaptoid trait, 5 hit points. And then there's a little star that says, check Adaptoid environments for modifiers to these values, which is fairly unique. When defeated, remove 1 all-purpose counter from an environment. They have 2 boost icons with a special boost action. After this activation, shuffle Adaptoid into the encounter deck.
Now, these are neat. These are really cool because that when defeated effect, remove 1 all-purpose counter from an environment. In the context of the scenario, it's to pull lock counters off of the locked up environment, wherever the hell it is, the cell we just talked about.
Right.
The holding cell. But because of the way it's worded, this can pull counters off of Pursued by the Past.
Yes, it can.
Standard 3.
Yeah, it totally can. I was going to comment on that. It's so.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you.
No. I love it that somebody else noticed that too. Are there other environments that get counters on it that we would want to remove? Is the question. And I don't know. I don't know if there are.
Nebula ship?
Yeah, I don't know how they would interact.
You would never have them in the same interaction, but
right. Yeah, it'd have to be a modular set that has environments or something. So, but yeah, I have used it to tick down Pursued by the Past. So
yeah, we have a couple times too.
Yeah, you're like, it's 1 away. Let's just make it 2 away, so it's a little easier. Yeah. Okay, now these Adaptoids have that really neat asterisk ability, so we need to know one of these random environments is going to start in play. So let's work our way through those. Daniel, why don't you tell us about the first?
Well, I told you about the flying Inhuman. Let me tell you about the flying upgrade that these Adaptoids can have. Each Adaptoid gets +1 scheme, gains Insight 1, and gains the aerial trait. They fly now. Maria Hill and Nick Fury.
Right. That's like a callback to the Star Wars sequel movies where you just.
I thought that was a callback to Tremors.
Do they fly in Tremors too? Maybe I didn't see that.
I think in one of the Tremors they start flying.
Okay. Well, all right then. The callback to 2 movies, but Disney to Disney.
I
I don't
might
know.
be wrong.
Yeah,
It's Rise of Skywalker.
yeah, they fly now. It's Finn says it to like Poe or something. And yeah, it's crazy. Anyways, scheme, insight, Ariel, cool. What's the next one?
It is Tremors 3, Back to Perfection is where that came from.
They
It's in
fly?
both. They fly
Okay.
now. Yep.
Awesome.
What's next? Sonic?
Yep.
Sonic
Yeah.
upgrade. Each Adaptoid gains Villainous and the Psionic trait. Remember your Psionic defense training, Maria Hill said.
So villainous is nice. I don't know if psionic makes any bit of difference, but
Future
Villainous
proofing.
is great.
yeah,
It would
I
make,
guess.
I think it would make sense if you were using this set. Well, but that's from MODOK, so it wouldn't. I was wondering if you were using like the Adaptoid sets. The Adaptoids are modular too, aren't they?
No, these guys are straight up just MODOK. So
Oh, well
I
then,
don't-
Yeah,
I was gonna
just
say if you
MODOK.
put him in Strife, maybe because he searches for Sonic cards, but you can't. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, Scott, give us the next one.
Right, let's talk about that strong upgrade coming from that strong Inhuman. It's an Adaptoid traded upgrade. It says that each Adaptoid gets +1 attack, gains toughness, and gains the Brute trait. With the quote, "I don't think we'd like her when she's angry," from Quake.
Nice.
Nice.
She does look green and blue.
She's got the brute trait with the environment. Why didn't the actual
Right.
ally get the brute trait?
That's true. They really should have given her the Brute trait. I agree.
All right, our last card we're going to talk about, Sarah Garza upgrade, is Adaptoid traded environment. Each Adaptoid gains the Elite trait. Each Adaptoid gets +1 attack, and its attacks gain overkill and ranged. Well, that's just great. These things can control my powers better than I can, Sarah Garza. Okay, that's a lot of cards for setup. With a
It is
lot
a
of
lot of
things
setup cards.
going on. We may have made it sound more complicated than it is. Right? You've got 4 cards in a holding cell. You have 1 Adaptoid environment out. You start with an Adaptoid in play. You got to punch MODOK 5 times, maybe less. And you don't want all the environments to come into play.
What's MODOK, Steve? He's a big schemer. He's the big brain thinker. He's going to make us have to think a little harder to set up his encounter to actually fight him. I think it's very on theme.
It's very good on
MODOK.
theme. You're right. Now, there are a couple FAQ questions. Do you guys want to go through those real quick?
Yeah, let's talk
For
about
the
those.
folks? Yeah.
Those weird scenarios that can emerge. So, like, if MODOK is defeated by overkill damage from an attack on an Adaptoid, in what order do MODOK's Forced Interrupt and the Adaptoid's When Defeated abilities resolve? Because they both remove counters. MODOK's is a Forced Interrupt that removes them off the holding cell, and the Adaptoids is the When Defeated remove 1 all-purpose counter from an environment. So what order will we do? The answer is that overkill damage is simultaneous with the damage from the attack. So the Forced Interrupt on MODOK resolves first because it uses the word would when he would be defeated. So before the defeat actually gets fully resolved, you do MODOK. And then the when defeated ability of the Adaptoid resolves because he has to actually be fully defeated before you can resolve the Adaptoid. So MODOK comes first and then the Adaptoid.
Yep. And that can matter because MODOK's pulling 2 and the Adaptoid's pulling 1. And if
Yes,
you're trying
the
to
math on it.
efficiently do it. Yep. All right, there's another fact though. Daniel, do you have questions about Inhuman
Well,
allies?
I do, Steve. What happens if an Inhuman ally leaves and there are no cards in the holding cell deck? Do you have an answer for that, Steve?
Oh yeah. That Inhuman ally that leaves play flips over and becomes the only card in the holding cell deck. You resolve the enters play text on its holding cell side by placing lock counters on it. So, yep,
Oh,
that's
okay.
it. Super easy. All right. We have been talking about MODOK for a while. We have more cards to talk about next week. Is there anything else to say about the setup here that we missed? I don't think there
I
is.
don't think so.
You can email us, criticalencounterspod@gmail.com. We're Critical Encounters on Facebook. You can find our YouTube, Twitch, or Patreon by searching for Critical Encounters Podcast. And on Discord, we are Vardane, Big Foam Loaf, Winkster, and Lexicon. If you like our show, tell your friends. If you don't like our show, tell your enemies. MODOK, take us out.
Hey, boys. I brought you a crumb cake. No cake. Only crumbs. Just the way you like it.